management of St. Thomas institutions for aptly selecting a scientist to be addressing and inaugurating the Science Expo. We are really indebted to you, sir. It is seldom that we get an opportunity to actually speak to children like you. I mean, it's one of our most favorite duties, and pleasant duties also, that we need to speak to children like you. I mean, we get to speak to researchers, we get to speak to teachers, professors, but children's is a really, pet liking that we have, because we need to develop the future scientists from you. I mean, you need not have engineers speaking to you. Definitely people will be going to engineering, medical and all different fields. But it is very rare that we get the right people for science. I mean, I was always speaking to your principal just before coming here. It is important that you people take up pure science, especially science, physics, chemistry and mathematics. These are important areas which will bring out technology. Science is what comes prior to technology. You should have a very good science. So with this brief thanking, let me begin by introducing our organization. We are Defense Food Research Laboratory. We are one of the constituent laboratory of Defense Research Development Organization, DRDO. I mean, we basically look into the Army, Navy and Air Force logistic requirements. Especially in Mysore, we look into the food logistic requirements. Okay, be it very inhospitable terrains like Himalayas, Siachen glaciers, where our army requires to eat hot food. So we develop technologies for them, like the moment you open your packet of food, it will be very hot. So this type of work we do for the armed forces, especially the army. And when you come to the Air Force, you must have seen Air Force pilot. Most of them are wearing their full mask and they will not be able to operate. Both their hands will be occupied. So under those circumstances, how do you feed the pilot, jet fighter pilot? And even when you are doing sorties for a very long time, like 3 to 4 hours, they also have their urge to defecate or have their urination. So how do you address such very simple requirements by the armed forces? This is what we do for the Air Force. And when you go for the Navy, you must have seen submarines or read about it. You may not have seen, but submarines definitely, and even big huge ships which go on a sortie for a very long period of time. What is their food requirement? And whenever you want to do cooking in submarine system, you know very well that oxygen is at a very high premium there. You cannot use oxygen for cooking. You must know very well that whenever fire is required, oxygen is a very important constituent to generate fire. So whenever oxygen is not there in a submarine environment, oxygen is at a premium. It is required for the people who are staying in the submarine to be breathing. So under those circumstances, what technologies are involved in actually providing food? These are the type of work that we have been doing. And I am also impressed by your rocket launch, which has been meticulously done by so many students, and the guidance which has been given for such a project. I mean, one of our pet project that we are currently working is something related to this rockets as well, ISRO. How do you have food in a space atmosphere? I mean, it is not very simple. There is no gravitational force there. How do you consume food? Moment you open any packet, the food particles start flying out. If you want to drink water, the moment you open a water packet, all the water molecules will start moving. And this will also create problems for the in-house equipments there. So under those circumstances, in a space environment, what type of food? How is the delivery system involved? These are some of the aspects which we are working out. We are closely in interaction with ISRO, Indian Space Research Organization, and in the coming months or maybe in a couple of years, we will be partnering with him to launch 3 or 4 astronauts in a low Earth orbit. This is the project which is called Jagannath. So shortly our country will be in one of those few countries which are able to have a manned mission. So we will be giving the food logistics supports for those. I am really impressed by what you students have done. Really great work. I mean, apart from this, it is also important for you people to have the moral values in you. Okay, it is right that science is important. Okay, the other day I was teaching my son, a 9th standard student at JSS. a Kannada lesson in a, it is called Prajanistha. It is in your 9th standard book. I mean, it talks about Lord King Vishweshwara. He was one of the celebrated kings who ruled this part of the city, I mean this part of the state. I mean, he was in Talakad region and those region, Mysore Talakad region he was ruling. He went on an expedition to win over the Chola dynasty which was there in that time. And then his celebrated queen, Queen Shantala, was taking care of the administration, routine administration for this area. And during that time, she went across in disguise with his adopted son and then tried to find out what is the state affairs when the Raja is not there. So she went across the city and then she came to know that there was a feud, or there was a difference of opinion between two parties. The first, one of the farmer had sold his land, and the other recipient who had bought the land from him, there was a feud with them. She was inquisitive and then tried to find out what is the dispute about. And then when she realized that this farmer who had sold the land to the other farmer, he came to know that while digging and then tilling his land, he came across a pot of gold. So this gold, he was not ready to accept. The farmer who had sold, he was saying that once I have sold the land, it doesn't belong to me. So the receiving farmer, he was said, this is something which your ancestral property. How can I take this property from you? This is not mine. I have given the price only for the land. So I have not paid the price for the money or the gold pot that is there. So this sort of a value system we had in this land. So let us all maintain, in spite of all our achievements, whatever we do, let us have that very good discipline and value system. These are very important in life. Our future development should always take into account this value system which are imbibed in our culture. So, and I have a small message also to the teachers. Kindly encourage students. I mean, we don't know. I mean, I was also speaking to your principal about the benefits of technology. See, now I am able to interact with the 40 or 45 classmates that I had during my BSc days. I know that most of the studious students who were studious during those times need not have succeeded in life. It was some other people, who were, I can mention one of my classmates. He was like, never used to study. He was always wearing, this earring, nose ring, bangle, and then he was listening to heavy metal music and that type of, he was really not interested in studies. And when we get to meet after maybe 20-25 years, we were surprised that he is doing high-end research on brain research institute in Japan. We were really surprised. So this technology has made us realize that it is not only studying which will ultimately lead you to great things in life. So let us learn lessons. These are lessons for life for us. Kindly encourage, irrespective of what they are doing. They may not be good at studies. Just think about Rishabh Shetty. After so many years and so many failed attempts, he has come out with such a wonderful movie, The Kantara. It's a brilliant movie. We don't know. Starting, he just wanted to make a few 20 crores. And 500 crores is a huge amount that he has made. He has brought out our Karnataka industry into world fame. So let us encourage all type of students here. Please, it is not only scientists, maybe they shine in different professions, which will make our country proud. So my sincere request to all teachers to encourage all types of people, students here, and they'll come out well. So in future, let me also give you a small insight into what type of research we will be doing in future. So that will help teachers also to motivate students, bring out the interest in them in those areas. Okay, now for one example, we are thinking about looking into 3D printing of food. Like the way you print something on a sheet of paper using a printer, we are thinking of doing 3D printing of foods. Just imagine whatever you are printing in your computer, if you are able to hold it in your hand. So this type of, especially this has lot of use in our space research. If our astronauts are able to give computer programming and print out a particular food which they want to eat. So this is what we are looking into. Another aspect is sustainable food production is very important. Just think about for some time, we are using our agricultural land to grow fodder for the animals, and then once the fodder is consumed by the animals, then we will go on and consume the animals. So this is not a sustainable development. So instead of using the same land for growing food crops, we might be using it for fodder. So we are definitely considering about actually growing meat itself. So this is called cultured meat. So this is one aspect which we are currently interested in. So we are also trying to use most of our brain into devising techniques to be able to address such problems. Another area which we are looking into is the artificial intelligence. Okay, so the computer knowledge. So whenever you are doing mechanization of the food production process, one important thing is, like when we are making a dosa, we know what is the texture of the dosa, how much roasted we need. To let the computer do the decision is highly challenging. This is where we are also interested in looking for future talent in this country. Like some of the products that we use in our country are very Indian specific. It is specific to our Indian palate. We cannot make our Indian people eat what the Americans or the English people are eating. Our diet is very specific. So these are some of the areas which I would like to motivate people to think. I mean, any idea might not be crazy. It might be crazy today, but definitely it will be working out tomorrow. So I will request all the, especially the back sitting people, the 9th and 10th people who would like to make the decisions in shortly. Next couple of years they will be deciding. So please consider the pure science. I mean, of course, we need to be perseverance in this. Some amount of perseverance is required, because this is sciences which will not let you immediately settle in life. But definitely, I mean, your interests and should take precedence over your finances. So definitely this will give you a lot of satisfaction in future. And then I would request all the 9th and 10th grade people, especially who are about to make decisions, to consider pure science, especially the physics, chemistry and mathematics part, seriously, and then try to come to this field. We definitely need talented people now for science and technology, and only then. There are so many denied technologies in our country. Nobody is going to teach those technologies for us, even if we are ready to pay a huge amount of money. Like one example is making a jet engine. Nobody is going to teach you how to make a jet engine. That's a very crucial component in a aircraft, fighter aircraft. So those technologies will only come because of high-end science. Science is very important. Even engineers could be going into technology. That's a different issue. But actually, the science part has to be strengthened in our country. Only then the technology will come, and then we need not be worried about most of the denied technology. Especially this is happening in our defense. So with this few words, I would again thank the management of St. Thomas Institution for providing me the opportunity to be able to address you. Thank you very much.
St. Thomas Central School, Mysore.